This video is going to be talking about the disputed peace of Callias, looking at three short sources, the Harparcration, Plutarch and Herodotus. So before we look at the sources on the peace of Callias, I just want to remind us kind of where we were up to in the Peloponnesian War. So Athens had been active in Cyprus. I remember the Delian League officially was removing Persian control from Greek lands. And obviously Simon had been out in Cyprus sort of attacking the area, and obviously he had died while he was there. But we do have this issue way back in Diodorus, just to recap what we did from that last source video, that the Persian king had decided he needed to make peace with the Greeks because the Athenians and the Delian League were pushing out the Persian-controlled lands, and they had attacked one of their strongholds in Cyprus. So we do have the fact we have a couple of ambassadors going to speak to Athens, and a peace treaty appears to be signed, according to Diodorus, between Athens and their allies and Persians, that all the Greek states in Asia were to be autonomous, and the Athenians would withdraw their troops from Cyprus, having sort of won in that particular area. So this is the context of then what's called the Peace of Callias. So the Peace of Callias is disputed, as I said in the title, partly because there's conflicting evidence about whether or not there is even this peace treaty. So obviously Diodorus here suggests that there might have been, and then we have these other little sources that say a bit of both. So we have this one. I mangled it in the title, so I'm not going to mangle it again. This particular source says that the treaty with the Persians is a fake, having written up not in the Attic but in the Ionic alphabet. So the Attic alphabet would be used in Athens, and the Ionic one would be used, funny enough, in Ionia. So they're suggesting that there's no treaty because the treaty that has been found is in the wrong alphabet, the wrong language. So it's being sort of disputed whether or not it's actually a real thing. We then have a bit of Plutarch. So we then have, obviously, Simon's victory in Cyprus had humbled the king's pride. He made that famous peace. So Plutarch says there is a peace treaty because it's famous. And according to the peace treaty, the king promised he would always keep a horse's journey from the Greek sea and not sail inside it up to certain points. So that's the main peace treaty according to Plutarch. Yet we have this guy called Callias who denies that the Persians made a treaty on these conditions, but instead they were just acting as if there was a peace in force. So he says there's no peace treaty, it was just that the Persians decided not to go anywhere near Greece anymore because obviously they've been humbled quite a few times. So again, conflicting evidence here. Maybe there was, maybe there wasn't. But then he also says that we have this guy called Kratoros, and he had a collection of decrees, which includes a copy of this particular treaty. So maybe there was a peace treaty after all, and they do say that Athenians put up an altar of peace because of the treaty. So maybe there was a treaty. Who knows? Who actually knows? Herodotus, our favourite source, comes to the last little section. We look at Herodotus. He suggests that there was an Athenian envoy called Callias, and he has some other people came with him, and they kind of signed this treaty, and that the Argives, that's people from Argos, at the same time sent envoys to basically one of the Persian satraps, and whether or not there's a friendship between Argos and Xerxes, and Artaxerxes says yes, there is. That's great, wonderful. So you can see there's evidence for and against whether or not there was this peace of Callias. There's no right or wrong on this. There's an entire book published on this about whether or not it existed. What we do know for certain is that the war between the Greeks and the Persians definitely stops. The Persians stop interfering for a while, anyway, in Greek affairs. The Greeks stop attacking Persian lands. So something clearly had happened, but whether or not it is a peace treaty, as some of these sources suggest, or whether it's what Plutarch suggests, that is just the Persians decided not to attack anymore, we will probably never know.